And just jokingly, I said, there are a lot of nerds here, right? And all three of them at the exact same time with the exact same pose said, "We love nerds." like
Otaku.
Otaku ga daisuki.
Wordle.ai presents Game Dev and All Tech.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Game Dev and All Tech. We talk about things related to gaming, brought to you by Wordle, the platform for distributing games across all devices, all channels. And here today, our guest, I'm your host, Will Bohn, from Digital Will, and our guest today is a longtime friend of mine, Marc Cellucci. Marc, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marc Cellucci. Nice to meet you. So I'm a video game veteran at this point. I started my career at Sega in America and then moved to Japan in the early 2000s and learned Japanese and worked for Koei, worked for Sega, and then started my own mobile app/game development studio about 15 years ago. And I basically sit in front of a computer all day and get paid for it. So that's who I am. and as Will said, we're longtime friends. We've worked together. We've laughed and cried together. It's good to have a little one-on-one time with Will, but have everyone here watching at the same time. So that's going to be fun.
So how did you start off at Sega back in the US?
Yeah, so that's actually a great story. So I'm from Texas, from San Antonio, Texas, and when I graduated from Texas A&M, I got a job in San Antonio with a local company, a software company called Globalscape. They are famous for Qt FTP. If you used FTP back in the day,
Yes.
that was their joint, Qt FTP. And so I started in tech support, which was great because at the time, Qt FTP's target audience was people wanting to put stuff on eBay, putting pictures on eBay. You couldn't put actual pictures on eBay at the time. You had to have your own FTP server, right? And so my tech support would involve people who had no right using a computer at all, who wanted to put their belt buckle collection on eBay, and just hour-long sessions of just murderous tech support hell. But then I told that they had a shit website too. Excuse the language. They had a bad website. So I told them that I can do website stuff. I can make you a new website, and I did, and so I became the webmaster. And then a friend of mine, and this is getting long, but I'll try to make it a little brief here, a little more brief. A friend at Globalscape had a friend who worked at Sega in San Francisco and at Sega.com. At the time, it was SegaSoft, which was a separate company. But she came back to San Antonio, and I met her at a party, and I basically begged her, like, you got to get me in at Sega. Come on, there's got to be something I can do. Yeah. And she told her boss about me, and I guess he was a Qt FTP user. And he called me up, and so the job interview was a phone call. And the guy was like, "Hey man, yeah, I saw your stuff, your Qt FTP stuff, man, your website. When can you start?" That was it. It's like, I can start, let me just pack up my car. And so I packed up my little my Nissan with as much stuff as I could put into it, and I drove 3 days out to San Francisco, and that's how I got my start in the game industry. So it's serendipity.
Serendipity.
Yeah.
And I did not know the Qt FTP thing, or I forgot about it. But yeah, I remember
FTP.
FTP back in the day.
I still have like a T-shirt back somewhere. It's getting mothballs now, but a big Qt FTP logo on a T-shirt. So maybe I could sell that on eBay, and it comes full circle.
And then when you got in at Sega in America, what is it that you were doing then? I'm sure you weren't making websites.
Well, I was actually. So it was right when the Dreamcast launched. I joined right after the launch. It launched in September 9/9/99, so September 9th, 1999. I joined in December. And I worked for Sega.com, so we did websites. The Dreamcast had a modem in it.
Yeah.
And had a browser disk, so you could browse the web on your TV, which not many people did for obvious reasons. But we would make websites for the Dreamcast users, and they would be 640 by 480 to fit on your TV screen. And nice TV safe colors and whatnot. But it was really cool at first. I mean, well, the whole Dreamcast era was great. It was so exciting. Every day there's some kind of new news. Something new. Sega was really just firing on all cylinders, and it was so exciting to be a part of that. We would have things, you could get little VMU mini games from the website and stuff like that. With the VMU, for those who don't know, is the little the memory card for the Dreamcast had a little LCD screen, so you could actually play games on it. It was super cool. So yeah, we were doing that, and then eventually it became Sega.com, the big website, and then Sega Sports. I was involved in SegaSports.com and got to go to motion capture sessions with famous basketball players and all this kind of stuff. So it was definitely a dream come true. Yeah.
Awesome. And then how did you make it over here to Japan, other than the fact that you flew on an airplane?
Yeah, no, I took a ship to. I had a ship built, and I went to the Japans. So I'd always been interested in Japanese culture, and obviously there's the video game thing, and I'm not a big anime guy. I'm not an otaku, but I happen to have a friend in college who is a Japanese guy, and when we graduated at the same time. He invited me out to Japan. He lives in Tohoku, in Shikata, and he invited me out. I spent about a month up there in the Great White North, as it were, and I loved it. I was like, man, Japan is great. And then during my time at Sega, I had opportunities to come to Japan again and again, and then each time it just felt I felt the calling. I was like, I want to do this. And so it was about 27 when I decided I'm going to quit Sega and I'm going to go to Japan, and I'm going to enroll in a school full time. For 2 years, I'm going to study my ass off and really learn Japanese. And that's what I did. So I went to Sendai, which is a city up in the north, and I was in a language school for 2 years. So I became a student again, which was weird because I'd been a member of society, the working class, and then become a student again. So I'm eating cup ramen and all that crap. But, but after 2 years, I graduated and I got the level 1 of the Japanese language proficiency test. The N1 is what they call it now, I think. But one. And I got that, and then I got a job at Koei right after that, and then I started my career as a member of the Japanese game development industry, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. And then what games were you working on, or what did you do at Koei?
Koei. So Koei is a super interesting company that I have lots of stories about. But I was hired to help them with their international marketing. So Koei this is way before Koei Tecmo became a thing, but they had an American branch and a European branch, and they were trying to sell Koei's games. And I was just kind of there to help manage them and report to the Japanese branch office. So in America, they want to spend this much money to advertise in EGM or whatever. Just that kind of stuff. But, that's an uphill battle if you're trying to sell Koei games to the West at that time, especially. The Warriors series, the Musou series, did well because it had a great launch on PS2. It was kind of one of those flagship titles. But the rest of their games, man, come on. I mean, it's like, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Nobunaga's Ambition, or as we used to say as kids, Nobunga's Ambition. And and that's a hard sell right there. Now Koei Tecmo is doing pretty well because they got Team Ninja and they're doing I guess various titles, Neo and whatnot. But but Koei was very interesting because it was my first Japanese corporate experience, and it is the most Japanese company you could ever want to be a part of. I mean, you look at their games, it's all historical stuff. That's how the company is run. I mean, it's basically, it looks like something out of Shogun, where the top person is sitting there and everyone's just like bowing, ready to, do whatever the top person says. It is very much like that. The top person there is her name's Keiko Erikawa, and she's a battle axe. She's just this hardcore, like what she says goes. I got along well with her, but it just, it was just funny to get that experience. And then after that, I went to Sega again, to Sega Japan, which is kind of where I really entered development at that point as a producer. And the contrast was night and day. Sega's corporate, obviously, but it's not, the super Japanese style. I mean, at Koei, after lunch they do the music, and some people be doing the taiso, the calisthenics kind of thing. And Sega is like, do whatever you want, man. So I don't care. Totally different vibes.
Right. What's some funny story that you have from Koei?
Koei? Oh man. So the funniest one is probably, there are two. And I tell these all the time, so if you've heard this, just stop me. But one was so for Neo.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, thanks. I'm done. I'm having no. One was for Neo. So Neo was a seed in the other top person's mind. He goes by the stage name of Shibusawa Cole, but his real name is Yoichi Erikawa, and he's the husband of the battle axe. And I really like the battle axe, so I'm not demeaning her at all. But both of these stories that I'm about to tell have to do with the battle axe. So, one was so for Neo, which was a seed in the guy's mind for a long time. He wanted to have this white guy samurai come to Japan and fight demons. I don't know why, but and so in 2008 they put out a trailer at E3 or TGS, one of those, that had nothing to do. It was just pure CG. It was nothing to do. There was no game at that point, but they had a theme song. And there's an English portion. So they asked me to come. They knew I sang. I guess I showed myself off at karaoke, or showed my ass at karaoke sometime. And they asked me to come in to sing a track for the English portion, so that the real singer could come in and know what the pronunciation would be like. So I went in there and I sang it, and the producer guy and the director, they gave me the classic like thumbs up, right? Yeah. And then she comes in, Erikawa-san comes in. She's like, and she's got a voice that I'm about to do an impression of her voice. It's not that far off. She's like, Mark, you got to sing from the gut. You got to sing from that. It's got to come from the diagram up. It's got to like a serious like Paul Mall voice, Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I did it again. She's like, no, more. And I did it again like about 3 times, and I was not changing a thing. And in the last one, she's like, yes, that's it. You got it. All right, I'm done here. And she like walked off. It was just, she kind of dropped the mic, even though I was the one with the microphone. And that it never saw the light of day. It was just a demo. But that just kind of goes to show you how much of control she had, over everything. And then the last one, sorry if I'm running off at the mouth too much, but so when I got the offer from Sega and I told Koei I'm leaving, she gave me a phone call. She's like, Mark, I'm up to my office right now. I was okay, yeah, I'll come up. And I went up to the Shogun's, kind of, there's like the tent, the crowd, the throne and whatnot. I went up there and she's like, Mark, I heard you're going to Sega. Sega is a terrible company. You don't want to be there. You want to be at Koei. We're the best. It's like, okay, you know what? I like it here. I enjoy my time at Koei. I got good people around me. Yeah. If you make me an offer that can match Sega's, I'll stay. I told her I'd stay. And she's like, okay, I'll talk to HR and we'll get you a good deal. The offer came the following week, and it was not. It was about not even 2/3 of what Sega was offering. So I was like, I'm out. And she's like, Mark, okay, I understand your decision, but you know one thing. A lot of people quit Koei, but then they always want to come back. And if I'm telling you, we never take them back. So if you leave Koei, you're never coming back. So I was like, I was just branded at that point. And just okay, yeah. I'm sorry, Miss Edikawa, but I gotta go. Just like, okay. And that was the last time I ever heard from her, and last time I had anything to do with Koei. And I'm probably still they've got like a wanted poster of my face in the offices somewhere, I'm sure. But
the ban list.
That's right.
If you try and play Musou games or something, they'll just like kick you out.
They knock me off, and I wouldn't try to play a Musou game for the, Oh man, you should see how bored the people making Musou. They're like the level designers, especially, is just like, okay, let's put a meat bun there. Let's put another army there, and another. They it's like their souls have been sucked out of them. But anyway, maybe it's different now. I don't know. This was a few semesters ago, so.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
So then you went over to Sega.
Yes. Roots.
Back to your roots, but
that's right.
This time in Japan.
Yes.
I'm guessing you were not doing websites this time.
I was not doing websites this time. This time I was right in the heart of it. I was in AM3, which is an arcade division. And I was a co-producer for a game called Dinosaur King. Mm-hmm. And so the way, I told you about how I got into Sega initially, like a really cool job interview. Like my history, I'm really lucky with job interviews because Koei was kind of a traditional thing. I applied and they looked at my resume and they asked me about my strengths and weaknesses, all that kind of crap. But the Sega of Japan thing was a friend of mine from SOA. He was in Japan. He's like, hey, I want to. I told him Koei is it's not that great, and he's like, oh, you know what? Let me set up a dinner with you and some people from the arcade division. See if if there's a love connection.
Yeah.
And so he set up a dinner with Kumagai-san, who is the head of AM3. She was the producer of Virtua Tennis, or director of Virtua Tennis, maybe. And then Kano-san, who was my boss, who was the director of Crazy Taxi. And we had dinner, and it was great. And told him, yeah, I'm really looking to get into development and looking to come back to the mothership of Sega. Mm-hmm. And they gave me an offer pretty much soon after that. Kano-san wanted me to be his right-hand man, and I did that for a couple of years. And I learned a lot about what to do and what not to do as a producer from him. So, it was a learning experience, and it kind of gave me what I needed to learn about contracts, about dealing with just various things, all the producery stuff that you need to work in Japan, and which led me to making my own company. But that was the whole SOJ Sega of Japan experience was different, man, because when you go to any development group is like,
Mark, you just muted yourself.
Okay.
There you go. Whatever you're going to need.
I pressed the space bar on accident, or it pressed me. I don't know. So if you need to cut there.
No.
Okay. Oh.
Just no cutting.
No cutting? Oh, it's raw, uncut.
It's raw and uncut.
Man, check this out. If you want the most raw and uncut footage right here, on the Wardle channel, or I forget the name of the channel. I just see Wardle behind me. It's hard to, it's Games Dev and All Tech or something.
Yeah, Game Dev and All Tech.
There, okay. But anyway, I likened it to being in the Star Wars cantina, because you'd see like weird looking people with misshapen heads, and with there's one guy at SOJ and AM3, he'd wear a beret every day. He'd wear a beret. I mean, who wears a beret? I mean, he was one of those, like, he just wore a beret. So it's totally like Star Wars Cantina stuff. Got along with people very well, of course. You know, I'm pretty easy like that, but yeah, it was just different, you know, seeing the development side, and you know, that really, you know, Sega is a pretty hardcore. Sega is its own thing. You know, we were out in near Haneda, which is a place called Otori, which is out in the boonies, and that really sucked. It was like an hour plus to get out there every day, and there's nothing out there, which is what. And historically, that's where Sega was. I think mainly because they were an arcade company, and they had to ship they had to have warehouses to hold all these giant machines and ship them out and whatnot. So you're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, and you start getting crazy, and that's where you make all these ridiculously crazy games that Sega used to make, you know, and that was a part of it. But yeah, I loved it. I loved my time there, and I think I've just gotten long-winded. But what was your question again?
Well, first, I think the arcade division, I think it's still out there today, if I'm not mistaken.
Arcades are mostly now UFO catchers, you know, crane games, and there's music games, and so there are music games, and there are metal games, you know, the not metal games, but the you know, the little coin pusher kind of things where you get the big bucket of medals, so you can pay to play and get more or less medals just so you can keep playing. It's one of those kind of, I don't know, weird things. That's kind of the extent of Sega's arcade endeavors at this point. So a lot of my team from the Dinosaur King days, they're all at mobile now. They're doing mobile, and they have a really nice office in Osaki, in the heart of Tokyo now. Man, I wish they had that office when I was there, because like, you go there, it's big. They have this big cafeteria with all this like good food, and they got beer, and that little, you can. I went there a few months ago to meet some friends, and you know, just pouring beers, and you know, in the Sega cafeteria, and that never happened when I was there. It's just, you know, because there was nothing to do except work on your game.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so then you worked on Dino King.
Yes.
Are there any other games that you worked on that people might know?
No, see, and this is the frustrating thing, is that a lot of people, when I tell them the games I worked on, they've never heard of them. And now I've been like I'm in the credits of games like the Yakuza series, and yeah, I've done, you know, a little bit of stuff on Sonic and whatnot, but nothing. I can't say, yeah, I worked on the Yakuza series. No, if you look at like somebody made an IMDb page about me, which I mean, how much free time do people have if they're making an IMDb page about me? But you know, I'm in like the credits of Yakuza 3 or 4 or something, because they, you know, cheap talent. I was there in the office, like, oh, Mark, you speak English, you got a good voice, why don't you come in and be like, you know, bad guy number 4 in you know, chorus number 2 in this play. And so whenever there's like a bad guy foreign dude, some, you know, blonde haired, you know, guy wearing Ray-Bans, then it's probably me. And any sound that you hear of somebody getting punched, you know, that's probably me. So my claim to fame, yes.
The grunting guy on
the grunting guy, the guy who gets his ass whooped. Yes. But I do have other credits in. I worked on Hummer, which was an arcade. It was a Hummer racing game, which was really cool. A lot of fun to play, actually. If you now, I think you'd have to get it on MAME or something, you know, get the emulator. But I'm the voice of Hummer, so while you're playing, it's like. And it's super annoying. I think anytime you hit a checkpoint or something like that, I say, go, go, go. So you hear me just saying, go, go, go all the time. It's like, oh, shut up. But I'm the voice of Hummer. I'm the voice of the Harley game. There's a Harley game called the King of the Road. And I'm the voice. I'm like, game over. You know, that kind of, you know. So yeah, so I've been on the periphery of several games at my time at Sega, and like I did the localization for Mario and Sonic, which is just, that hurt, man, because I'm a Sega guy, and I was like, Why is Sonic hoeing around with Mario? I didn't. It was hard to, but I put my pride aside and localized that game. So
You pushed through it.
I did. I did.
So not only were you a producer type, you were also like a localization specialist and a voiceover specialist.
Yeah, so none of them were specialist type things. I think it's, when you're one of the beautiful things of being on a team of any type. I mean, if it's small or large, is that if they feel you can do something, they'll just call you and do it. I mean, the Neo story I told is a perfect example of that. The director or producer of the audio thing, we went out to karaoke once. He's like, "Oh, you got a good voice. Why don't you sing the song?" It's just like that. And so it was one of those deals where I became a good friend with Mitsuyoshi-san, who's the voice of the Daytona USA. Daytona, let's go away. That one. And we became good friends. He's like, "Oh man, I'm working on this Harley game. I need lyrics and can you help me with the English lyrics?" And so I wrote his English lyrics for him. And it's pure metal. You'd love it, Will. It's straight up. It's just talking about horsepower and hellfire and brimstone. And it's all I was just thinking about Judas Priest the whole time while I was writing.
Judas Priest, Turbo Lover.
I didn't put any Turbo Lover stuff, but it was more like Screaming for Vengeance era, kind of stuff. But yeah, it's all in there. It's all in there. And it's on my new website, which I'll promote later. But
okay.
So yeah. So
spoiler alert.
But while I'm doing that, and then like, oh yeah, can you just get in the studio and say like, in rough style, like game start, 3, 2, 1, go, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And so the cheapest talent you could ever get. Well, this is historically at Sega especially, man. If you were a native English speaker, they just bring you in. That's why, and not just at Sega, but all the games. That's why, I mean, a lot of those games, those early like PlayStation era games and whatnot, they have bad voice acting. Well, because those were testers usually is what happened.
Right.
And that's true. I got friends who have been, in those games, and they're like, yeah, you speak English, come on in. I will beat you now. That's why all that happened. Thankfully, now they're real voice actors.
So then after Sega, or during Sega, at some point you're like, I'm going to start my own thing.
Yeah. Do you want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah.
There are multiple reasons. One, I hated the commute. I hated going out to Old Tordy in the middle of nowhere. Kano-san is a good guy. I like him, but he could be difficult to work with at times. I had a difference of opinion with him. This is an aside, but I mentioned that he taught me also what not to do as a producer. One of the things that he did that I was just like, okay, no, is at a meeting with the development staff, he gave a speech about how, listen, we're not making works of art, we're making products. I was like, no, don't tell the staff that. To them, they're making works of art, and games are works of art.
Yeah, I believe that too.
And as a producer, your job is to take that work of art and make it into a sellable product, so that we can all live off of something that's not just cup ramen, right? I mean, that's important. And so, like, he was so focused on his producer thing. And he used to be a director of games, so he's more of a development guy. I think he was just kind of caught in the weeds of being a producer. It's like, no, we you're making products. Nobody wants to be told they're making products if you're a creative person.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh God, this no, I can't. You got to be able to compartmentalize that sort of thing. Then one of the things that really, I think the NDA, the statute of limitations is over on this, so I'm gonna tell it to the world. There was a time when the higher ups at Sega were asking for the arcade divisions to come up with a new music game, a new IP for music. And I looked at, Taiko no Tatsujin, the Taiko. And thought, man, that's really cool. And I've always liked the steel pan, the Caribbean steel drums, kind of classic thing. So I created an idea, a concept, a little document about how you could take the steel pan. You could simplify it because the steel pan's actually really complex. You have to hit in just the right places. So it's a complex instrument, but if you simplified it, make it like Dance Dance Revolution, up, down, left, right. Okay, so we simplify that. But then imagine that sound, that kind of Caribbean, really, as we say in Japanese, as we say, iyashike, that kind of, relaxing, calming, you're on vacation kind of sound. But the thing where it's even better than taiko is just pure hitting drums. With the steel pan, you can make melodies and you can make harmonies. So if you have another person playing, you're playing two-player, you can be harmonizing. And I thought, man, this is it. And my boss liked it. My boss's boss liked it. Everybody liked it. It went up to the highest level. I wasn't in that meeting. I wasn't allowed to be in that meeting, I guess. I don't know. And they turned it down. And they decided in the end to bring back Samba de Amigo instead, because a new IP would be expensive. And let's just bring back the old shit that didn't work ever. Samba de Amigo is great, but it never sold. But they decided to bring that back. And I was like, that's when I'm like flipping the table over. I'm like, man, I gave you a great idea. It would have worked. I guarantee. To this day, I think it would still work. Don't steal my idea now if you're listening, unless you can fund me making it. But so that was extremely frustrating. And I just felt kind of like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to do it myself. And I started my own company. And as you know, starting your own company is a big thing. And you don't necessarily know 100% I'm going to do this. I don't think when you started Digital Will, you were like, I'm doing Wardle and that's it. I think you had.
It's a journey along the way.
Yeah. And so to me, I was like, maybe I'll do some localization. I don't know. But then the iPhone was announced after I'd made my company. So Steve Jobs did his thing. It's a phone and internet device and all that. It's like, man, I think that iPhone might go places. And so I started. The first project we did was an original iPhone app, and then we just kind of took it from there. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
And then some of those projects, I think you worked with some famous IP and everything.
I did one game for an IP called Run for Money, which is Tousou Chu in Japanese, which is a show for those watching who don't know. It's a really creative show on Japanese TV where they put all these famous people, comedians and whatnot, in a space in a city. It's like an empty city. There's nobody there. And then they have these guys called hunters, these guys in black suits who basically chase them down. And so the goal is to get away from the hunters and try to escape. And it lends itself very well to to a game. Obviously, it's hide and seek essentially.
Yeah.
But man, I got my first taste of dealing with IPs, Japanese IPs, but also dealing with the TV world here. I think media in general is a pretty tough, whether it's newspapers or whatnot. But man, I mean, the TV industry, at least my experience with it, the producer on Run for Money was a complete fool. And he we were in meetings and he would berate his own staff in front of everybody, just kind of that old school, like what the hell are you doing, you stupid moron? Just like yell. And we were just like, come on, man, we're just trying to make a game here. He never yelled at us, never yelled at me, but it was just like, it was that kind of like high pressure, drink Maalox from the bottle kind of industry. And just like, okay, this is interesting. But then other IPs I've worked with, AKB48, I made or helped make several AKB48, which is a Japanese idol group for those who are not familiar, and they're super nice people. Unless you're one of the idols, then you're in the little gilded cage, and that's a story maybe for another time. But Oh, those poor girls. I don't. Oof, okay.
They signed up for. I don't want to say.
They signed up for it. Maybe they didn't know what they were getting into. I don't know, but they're well trained. Let's put it that way. My favorite example of that favorite. It's I don't know if I should say favorite, but I had a booth at Tokyo Game Show for a game I did, and the AKB girls, three of them were assigned. It's because we were doing AKB games. They were assigned to help promote my game. And we were in the back, backstage, just getting ready, and I was small talking with them. I was like, "Have y'all ever been to Tokyo Game Show before?" No, it's new. And just jokingly, I said, there are a lot of nerds here, right? And all three of them at the exact same time, with the exact same pose, said, "We love nerds." Like
Otaku.
Otaku ga daisuki.
Yeah,
they did that. All of them at the same time, same pose. It's like, the training is there. Let's way. Felt bad for these girls, man, and they couldn't walk the streets. They were always like, black vans with a manager or two with them, and just shuffled off into, okay, you go into this room now. And this is a really interesting side of things. So yeah.
What happens when you get famous, Mark?
I guess so. So thankfully we're not that famous yet. Who knows? This podcast we may go viral off of this, and then we have to ride in black vans and wear masks and all that.
From all your voiceover experience, you're getting shepherded around.
I just won't talk anymore. But see, if you became famous, we'd still know you because your Motorhead hat. Yeah, your priest hat. We'd still see it. I do notice how you got the Motorhead hat and the shirt.
I have a matching shirt today.
Yes, it's like an Argyle sweater and socks.
This is my Steve Jobs outfit.
Nice. Yes, it is. And I saw you did like the same similar look when you were doing those. I forget the name of the study. It's on LinkedIn now, but you were promoting Wardle, and I like that you stay true to the game, man. You keep your style your own. You don't. I've never seen you. I've seen a button-up shirt like you got on now, but I've never seen it buttoned up. So, yeah.
That one was a fresh new shirt. So people who don't know,
fresh new shirt.
Our company, we went through the Techstars Tokyo program, the very first program here in Japan, in Tokyo. And so we had our demo day, which is basically you go up and you have 3 minutes to present your company. And we were one of the 12 companies that were selected to be a part of this program. And it was November 12th. We went up on stage, and normally when I do some presentations, I will actually buy a new shirt, and I have like a whole closet full of brand new, not this Motorhead shirt, but another one with the Ace of Spades, and it says "Born to lose, live to win." And I think that last part is, for me, is super important. And so that's why I wear that when I do a lot of those important presentations.
All right, sweet. So that's your presentation shirt. You've got your presentation.
That's my presentation shirt.
Sweet.
And because
I need something like that, man. Damn.
You got your black shirt and you have a nice leather jacket too.
I have all that, but I need something with a quote on it, like that. See, that's that's just bringing your A game right there. My favorite quote, it's similar to that, is and this I'm losing your audience, as right here. Your views are going to drop off, but it was by the great professional wrestler Dusty Rhodes. He said, "I have wined and dined with kings and queens, and I have slept in alleys and dined on pork and beans." Which means you've been to the top, you've been to the bottom. And I think that's similar to the Motorhead thing. You're born to lose, but
it's up to you to make life
make it happen. Yeah. I think to those watching, both Will and I, we've come to Japan. We've made businesses that are somewhat successful and kind of lived a certain dream that certain people have. And I think there's something rare about what we've done. And I hate saying that. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I think what we're doing is kind of hard mode. And so that's one of the reasons I've always gotten along with Will, aside from his excellent taste in music, is that he's walking the hard path like I am. So
We're suckers for hard mode.
we are. We're idiots.
Or
The
nightmare mode.
idiots. In fact, rename it like
Suckers for nightmare mode.
Nightmare mode. Yeah. How to ruin your life in X number of steps.
So you started your own thing, and then you taking it back.
Yes.
You started your own thing, iPhone games, Android games. You started, build up the business. How did you kind of see the whole smartphone, especially game ecosystem and everything, change over the years?
Yeah, money came into it. Really, it was at first it was the Wild West. It was great, so entertaining because it was the era of like those beer drinking apps. You would go down. If you had a funny idea, you could put it out there, and it would be, it would get attention. Then eventually, the big boys saw it, and it's like, I apologize. I got like the sun coming into my face, so I look kind of weird, but the big boys came in with the money and the marketing power, and then you had certain games, whether it be Puzzle and Dragons or Line Pop was another one. These, you can't compete with these marketing budgets anymore, and so the thrill was gone at that point, and the ability for a small development crew to make something that was easily seen or that people would pick up on became very difficult. There are always examples of that kind of bucked the norm, where like Flappy Bird was a great example of it just went viral, boom, and it went viral for good reason, because it had that silly kind of that passion that we used to have in the early days, but I don't know, there's just something about it, that kind of je ne sais quoi. But now I look at the mobile market, and it's all drug dealers essentially. They get you with the login bonuses, get you with this, get you with that. You want to earn this, try to do this, and then you can do this, and I still make that stuff, by the way. So I'm essentially I'm in the poppy fields, but it's. As a hardcore gamer, which I know, Will, you are as well, there is a little bit when you're doing mobile, and I do it, there are good aspects, and I do it to, make ends meet, but there's a lot about it that's kind of sinister. And, as a hardcore gamer, I just here's the perfectly molded one-time experience, and I'm not trying to get you to download this all the time and tease you with new stuff that I know is just a JPEG on a server, and you're going to pay $8 or $10 to have that JPEG on your phone until we close shop and you got nothing. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what the next thing is, which I think it's Wordle.
It has to be Wordle.
Bring the joy of gaming. I don't know what's behind your neck, but I see everywhere.
Everyone everywhere.
Yeah. See, that's what it's all about. The joy that's a good word. I like that.
My background is advertising and marketing, and
right.
So then I've seen some of the shady underbelly of the how the sausage is made, and that's part of the reason we made Wordle, is like it's so hard to, for especially like indie studios to try and go across platform and make things that work on, say, the web If you want to experiment with Web3, or if you want to do native mobile apps, and all these other options that are out there, make it super easy for people to try things out and bring their games to the world in a way that's fun, and that the game developers can focus on making a fun game, as opposed to like, oh, how do I make ads work inside of my game properly, such that I don't get stiffed by some of the bigger players in the market. It takes a certain skill set to know about all these different things and what you can do and what you can't do.
Sure.
And I think, like you were saying, that takes the fun out of like the whole game making process, I think.
Yeah, it does. But what I like about what Wordle's doing is you're making it frictionless for people to get on it, which I think is super key. People, especially a new service, relatively new service. I'm having the same thing. I'm helping with the Roblox project, and Japan's behind the times with Roblox. And you say, oh, Roblox has this many users. You can tell them. Yeah. But if you take the friction away and just like, here, just put this in, and you'll see the results. That changes things. So you really have to show, don't tell is kind of the thing. And I think that's what Wardle is. And I'm not a shill for Wardle. Will's not paying me, by the way.
Mark would never ever shill for me ever.
I would shill for you if you paid me. That's the difference. I need the ducats, man. No, that's fistfuls of yen. No. Well, yen are pretty much worthless now, so I prefer dollars, or cashier's checks or whatever. No,
or Bitcoin.
Bitcoin would be great. Yeah, sure, I'll take some of that. But that's kind of what I think where your angle is really kind of ahead of the curve, as far as just making it easy for people to just implement it and do it, and it's only going to benefit them. They're not going to, it's not going to be a detriment to them. So
yeah,
it's cool. Yeah.
So Mark, we have one of our people on the team. We've come up with your first victim for lightning round.
Lightning round. Oh boy.
Of questions.
Okay.
So just answer as fast as you can.
So wait. So do I have to answer it quickly verbally, or do it just first thing that comes up to off the top of my head? Is this a Rorschach test? What's going on here?
This is not a psychological test.
Okay.
No one's going to judge you.
Right.
At least I won't judge you.
Yeah. All these other people on YouTube, all those thumbs down. They're going to smash the thumbs down button on this one.
But just quick answers to the questions. First one.
I didn't do it.
Is what was the first video game you ever played?
Oh man, it's got to be Combat on the Atari 2600.
Nice. And then what game are you playing now, or what was the last game that you played?
Yeah, I just finished God of War Ragnarok. I was late to the party on that one, but I just finished it. Oh, actually, and then after that I played Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. So I love that series. So I just finished that 2 days ago, and now I'm between games. So
nice. And then what is your all-time favorite console that is not the Dreamcast?
Oh man, that's hard. Oh, because the answer is Dreamcast. I would have to say probably the Genesis, or hold on. Oh damn, I'll say Genesis.
Genesis, all right.
Yeah.
And then name a video game that's underrated.
Underrated. Oh God, there's so many. Oh man, lightning round, right? I'm looking at my shelf now, and the sun is coming into my eyes. That's not underrated. Okay, I think Ghouls and Ghosts is well known and well loved. Everybody's, it's too hard, I don't like it, but it's actually one of the greatest games of all time. So I'll say Ghouls and Ghosts, but I don't know that that's underrated. Damn, give me 1 more second. I'm thinking, I'm churning. Yeah. It's not coming to me, so I'll say Ghouls and Ghosts for now.
All right, I think that's a good answer. And then, what is the best?
I've got it right here, by the way.
Ooh,
Ghosts. This is Daimakai Mura, maybe with the clamshell. You gotta love that.
nice.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. Prince of Persia is a series I really love. The self-title, it was on the Xbox 360. The Prince of Persia that came out, it was cell shaded. A lot of people didn't like it because it was too easy. You can't die in it. I think it's one of the greatest. I think it's the best in the Prince of Persia series. So that's my answer. Prince of Persia, self-titled, not the original, but the
original one where it was brutally hard and you would die all the time.
Yeah, I have that one right here. Hold on, I'm ruining your show because we speak, but
No, it's
this
okay.
one. This one.
Oh yeah, that one. Yes.
Yes. That's a favorite of mine. So, yeah.
What is the best thing and worst thing about your current job?
The best thing is, I'm not in the coal mines. I can sit at a computer and do things in a very comfortable way, and I make enough money to where I'm not struggling. The worst thing is the paperwork, especially here in Japan. They love paperwork and they love it in triplicate. And it's a lot of paperwork, especially lately. So, yeah.
And then describe your perfect weekend.
Everyone leaving me the hell alone. Really, it's kind of the perfect weekend. In fact, I'm about to have it this weekend. I do not have my kids with me, and which is great. I love my kids. Kids, if you're watching, But I have, starting after this show. Actually, I'm done, so I'm gonna go to a restaurant, eat something, play a game tonight. Tomorrow, maybe take a bike ride. So be completely non-productive and be left alone. That's my perfect weekend.
Chill out
on that. And this is why I don't have a girlfriend.
And then what's your favorite thing about living in Tokyo?
Tokyo is like an ever-opening flower. There's always something new to discover. It's got everything, and it's civil. People are civilized. It's clean. It's convenient. It's great. There's nothing I really don't like about Tokyo. So it's my city. Yeah.
Well, mine too. So
yeah, that's right. Tokyo love, baby.
And then, what's your favorite comfort food?
Definitely Mexican. A good, plate of fajitas. Yeah, Tex-Mex. That's me. I pretty much make my own breakfast tacos almost every morning. Hot sauce, my breakfast. That's me. Yeah.
Nice. And then, do you believe aliens exist?
Somewhere, somehow, yeah, for sure. I mean, odds are they exist. They probably can't get here like we can't get there. So
sweet.
Yeah,
that was you completed the lightning round.
What was my score? Did I get S rank?
We'll give you 2 S's.
2 S's, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take 2. That's good.
So Mark, thanks for completing the lightning round and not getting struck by it. Actually, well, yeah. Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
So coming into the end to the show. So now is your chance to promote anything that you want.
Finally. No, I'm just kidding. So I just launched a website called Cellucci.world. So it's CELLUCCI, lots of letters there, .world. And so Cellucci World is basically, I used to run a personal website, as most of us did, and then SNSs started coming up, and Facebook, we'll just do Facebook, it's fine, I'll let that side go. But I'm like, now Facebook and Twitter and all that, they suck. It's time to have my own personal site that's kind of my autobiography in real time. And so I just launched that site. It'll have lots of Sega stuff, lots of gaming related stuff, lots of just a variety of content, and also hype my services, whether it be helping your business come to Japan or vice versa and whatnot. So professionally and personally, that will be the hub. So check out Cellucci.world. Cellucci.world, that's Cellucci.world. And not .com, it's .world. Because
You've practiced this. You've practiced this.
Sunday, right? It's one of those things. No, so yeah, please check it out, and feel free to contact me if you're interested in doing so. And watch the Wardle Show. I like calling it the Wardle Show better than the Game Dev and All Tech. I think it's just the Wardle Show is better. But watch the Wardle Show, and maybe I'll be on again if Will allows me to. I'll come on anytime you'll have me. So
Awesome. Well, thanks, Mark. Maybe we can do like a co-host thing or something that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, let's do it like something in the same room too. I mean, we've been in the same room before, so we each other smell like. We do, but
yes.
I don't want your cooties that you got now because you got a kid, a young kid, in the kindergarten or whatever, the nursery school. So I don't want all those like hand, foot, and mouth diseases and all that kind of crap that kids bring home. So no, I've been through it. Yeah, so it's all good. Yeah, let's do it.
You're inoculated.
I'm inoculated by if you want to get sick, have kids, ladies and gentlemen. That's the best way to get sick. Basically every couple weeks. There you go.
Awesome. Thanks, Marc Cellucci, for being on the show. I will Bohn, apparently the host of the Wardle Show.
The Wardle Show.
Thanks everybody, and tune in again for some more interviews with great people in game development and technology sector.
Wardle Show.
All right.